Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is September the 19th, 2023, and we are continuing our look into wine in the Bible. Let's go ahead and get started. Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. Let's read this in context. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands and love their children. Okay, that's good enough. So let's take a look at this verse in Scriptures for All to see what it really says. Because when you read it at surface value, it seems to say you can have wine, just not much of it. But that's not what the Scriptures actually say. So this is the verse here. That's good enough. The aged woman, similarly, in demeanor, as becoming the sacred, no adversaries, no to wine much, enslaved, teachers of the idea. Well, how did they interpret this word, enslaved? They interpret it as given. No, that word means you're in bondage to. It doesn't mean that you occasionally do it. No, this should be interpreted as no adversaries, not in having been enslaved to much wine. That's the way it should have been interpreted. Not having been a drunkard, basically. That way, they would be carrying themselves in holiness and able to teach the young children and able to teach the young women on how to behave themselves as holy women. But now, listen, I thought about this a little. I didn't make a big deal about it because I don't speak Greek. But there's a difference between the man and the woman here. Of course, equal, but different, right? It's equal, but different. Our weaknesses are not the same. Here it says that you should not have ever have been a drunk as a woman. If this is correct, then alcohol is not a weakness for women. As I said, I don't know if this was translated because I use these to check it, but I don't know if this is translated by man or if it actually comes from the word. You can look into it further if you want to. I didn't look into it deeply. I don't think it matters that much. But my point that I'm making here is that alcohol should not be a weakness for you as a woman. It is a weakness for men. They used a different word, and we're going to see that in a moment. It said the aged man must be sober. He could have drunk at one time in his life, but he needs to be sober now in order to present himself as behavior as becometh of holiness. The woman could not have ever, should not have ever, if she wants to present herself as a teacher. Anyway, she should not have ever been enslaved to drunkenness. Anyway, that's one way of interpreting it. Like I said, I didn't look deeply into it, But using this and going by these right here, these little symbols that they use to help you interpret, it does appear that this should not be an issue for a young woman. Not alcohol, not drunkenness. Not that you probably could never be drunk, but alcohol should not be a problem, according to this verse. Anyway, let's continue on. Or according to that interpretation. But let's continue on. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre. Isn't this what we're supposed to be striving for? To be blameless? To be blameless, no wine at all. Likewise, must the deacon be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre. So we kind of already know what this is going to say, but let's look it up in Scriptures for All anyway. I'm sorry about the noise if you can hear that. That's my neighbor. Okay. Likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre. Servants similarly must be grave, not double-tongued, not to wine much, being addicted, it says here. So let's see how they translated that word. Oh, it's right there. Again, given. No. Not being addicted to much wine. Not being a drunkard. And it doesn't have the past. It's not stated as in the past as well. It's just covering the current for the men. That you are currently not addicted. Or not, as opposed to not ever having been addicted. So the man cannot be a drunkard. He cannot be drinking wine. Any amount of wine is considered a form of intoxication, according to the Bible. You can have none. If you have any, you are considered intoxicated. No wine. Let's continue on. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and ye say, he hath a devil. He hath a devil. The Son of Man is come eating and drinking, and ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. Okay. Jesus here is speaking of the Pharisees, what the Pharisees said. The Pharisees said a whole lot of stuff. Very little, if any of it, was true. But I can understand why people are saying, oh, he's eating and he's drinking. But it doesn't say what he's drinking. He could have been drinking water. And then the Pharisee said, oh, he's a drunk. A little bit extreme? Okay, well, let's see. Let's see what else the Pharisee said in order to taint Jesus' name. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, he has Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devils casteth he out devils. They said Jesus had a devil. Because they said it. Is it true? Absolutely not. Jesus said unto them, Jesus, he called them, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? A kingdom divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Who's right? The Pharisees or Jesus? But the Pharisee said, he casteth out devils through the prince of the devils. And Jesus answering spake unto the lawyers and Pharisees, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day? And they held their peace. And he took him and healed him and let him go. And answered them, saying, which of you shall have an ass or an ox falleth into a pit, and will not straightway pull him out on the Sabbath day. It is lawful to heal on the Sabbath day. This is what he's teaching them. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Because he was healing on the Sabbath day. He was telling people, take up your mat and go home after he healed them. He did things on the Sabbath day. They just decided it was wrong. They were wrong about almost every word that came out of their mouth in the Bible. Why is it a stretch to believe that they saw him drinking out of a cup and said, oh, he's a drunk? Jesus was there sitting with sinners, teaching them, talking to them, telling them about the kingdom of God. It didn't really matter what he was drinking. What mattered is that they wanted to taint his name. To actually take this verse, hold on, let me see if I have any other scriptures. No, it's the last one. To actually take this verse and say, because Jesus was drinking out of a cup, and the Pharisee said it was wine, therefore it meant he drunk wine, is way more than a stretch. It's way more than a stretch. It literally means nothing when you consider everything that the Pharisee said in the Bible, almost all of which was untrue. And probably all of it was untrue when it came to Jesus. Probably 100% of it was untrue. They taunted him from the beginning to the end. But here, there's some credence given to what they say because they said he was a wine bibber? Absolutely not. The opposite is more likely to be true than for this to be true. He probably wasn't drinking at all. He probably just had a cup in front of him. Except for the fact that he said he was drinking. He was eating and drinking. So, no, he was drinking. But it just could not have been wine. It could not have been wine. Well, it could not have been alcoholic wine. That's my point. He was not drinking alcohol. Jesus had to be alert and at his best against these wicked people at all times. Even if it was lawful to drink wine, this would make no sense at all. It simply would not make any sense. Not if you think about it. But that was my last verse. So we are going to, just making sure. Yep, that's it. So we're going to leave it there. And I will talk to you in the next video.